Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today is Friday, which means I do a bunch of new releases. Earlier this morning, very earlier this morning, may I add, I watched the last episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so if you guys like that kind of thing, go check that out. It's available on the channel right now. But if you guys like werewolf movies, definitely click on this one. And please consider subscribing. It's a huge help. I do new releases every Friday, and I have other movie reviews coming out every single day of every week. So if you guys like movie reviews, definitely check out subscribing. Hit the little red button. It'd make me very happy. But today, I'm really excited to talk about Bloodthirsty. Bloodthirsty was released in 2021. It was written by Wendy Hill-Tout and Lowell, and it was directed by Amelia Moses. So this was released last year, technically, during I think it was during a film festival, where it won some awards, I think. I'm pretty confident. All right, let me preface this first with two things. One, no spoilers. I don't spoil anything. There are no spoilers here, okay? But two, I also typically don't like werewolf movies. I just don't like that kind of genre. I don't like sci-fi, weird monster movies. I just never have, and I probably never will. However, this film surprised me. And in no way, shape, or form is it a perfect film. It's not. But it has its merits, and it is fun, and it's good, and it's not just a werewolf movie. It's very interesting. Essentially, what happens is we see this girl named Gray, and she's an indie pop artist, okay? And she's writing songs, and this guy named Vaughn, who's a music producer, is like, hey, I want to work with you. So Gray and her girlfriend go out, and they, work with him, but then mysteries ensue, right? Because Gray has these weird visions where she envisions herself as a wild animal. And then Vaughn has this weird thing where he might have murdered someone before and no one really knows if he did or not. And he acts really strange. And Charlie, which is Gray's girlfriend, realizes that something kind of fishy is going on. And it's this weird mystery that builds up to this really cool climax that I wasn't really expecting. When I started watching this movie, my first thought was that it's going to be pretty similar to Jacob's Wife, which I watched last week, and I didn't really like that one. But it wasn't. It starts off very, it's very werewolfy, but then it takes a break, and it's like, hey, let's focus on her music, let's focus on her indie, career, and how can this guy actually help her, right? Because it helps sell the idea that she would actually go to him. And it works. It works so well. It focuses so much more on it being more of a young artist kind of movie, more so than it does as a werewolf movie. It worries about the werewolf later. It's more about the drama and the interesting parts of writing music, which honestly I was quite surprised with and really happy about. It feels nice to get sort of a break from these big monster movies where all you really see or care about is the monsters, right? Like in Jacob's Wife, it was very vampire, right? Whereas this, it's like, oh, they're able to balance these two genres very well, and I'm really happy about it. And one thing I do want to mention that I really liked about this movie was the music. I think the music in this film is great. There's 4 original songs by Lowell, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but whatever, that are great. They're really good. I really like them a lot, and it adds to the suspense of the film. And it's music that I added it to my phone the second I heard it. I listened to one of their songs. They sang Bloodthirsty and Greta's Last Song, and both of which were really good. So I was like, all right, yep, added those. So I added those to my phone because they're really good to listen to. They're super cool. So I like that they had that in the film, and it was an important part of it. However, as much as I am praising this film, there are quite a few issues. One, the beginning is kind of weird, right? We start off very very werewolfy, and we move into this weird kind of unbalanced mess for a bit. For quite some time, we're stuck in this weird transitionary period of where do we go? How do we get there? And it's kind of uncomfortable for the viewer for the first 20 minutes, right? I'm sitting here and I'm like, please don't let the whole movie be this awkward. It was just a weird, it was really shifty and awkward, and it did not transition from scene to scene very well. until we get to the actual manor where we meet Vaughn and all that stuff, and then it gets really, really cool. From that point forward, for the most part, it feels way more smooth and connected and interesting. But that beginning is kind of rough. And there's a couple scenes in the middle of like Act 2 where we kind of get to this weird like the suspense is building, but then it kind of plateaus for like 5 minutes. And honestly, it is a break in suspense building that kind of was sad. It wasn't a huge deal, but there's just, I can't really mention because it is kind of spoilery, but it's just this weird part that like doesn't really make sense, but like you can see why it's there. Like it makes sense that it's there. It's just not very well done, I think, is kind of maybe where I'm getting at. But for the most part, the tension building does work quite well. And the acting, let's talk about that. Lauren Beatty, I think it's pronounced, as Gray. Gray was great. She is the main character that is like the werewolf weird thing, or at least she thinks she's a werewolf. It's a mystery. Excuse me. That's better. That's much better. But she's great. Essentially, what we see here is she's developing her own character. She's trying to figure out where she belongs, right? Because she's got two of hers, right? She's got her with her girlfriend. She's got her that she wants to be. And it's this weird, interesting, like, who does she want to be kind of thing. And by the end, you find out who she wants to be. And it's this weird kind of mess that doesn't really work in the beginning, but works, like, quite well towards the end, I think. And honestly, this is the perfect actress. She's got, like, this weird, like, shaped face that, like, kind of goes like that. With, like, this tiny nose that goes, like, in like that. And, like, she kind of just looks like an animal, which kind of works. But her voice, I assume it's her voice, is really good. I honestly don't know if she sang those songs. It might have been Lowell in the background. It's probably ADR is probably what it is, which is okay. Whoever sang the songs was great. I assume it's not Beatty here, but it could be. But her acting's great. I really enjoyed her. I think she was perfect for the role. However, I don't know if she was quite up to the caliber of who I'm going to talk about next, but nonetheless, still very good. Greg Brike as Vaughn. He was top tier in this movie. He is so scary. I've never seen him before. I hope he's in other scary movies, because I love really good acting in scary movies. And honestly, he was really good. He built the tension like crazy throughout this entire film, and it's worth watching just for him. I honestly, like, I might rewatch this at some point, because I actually really like it, because his character's really, really creepy and really awesome. And I think that the balance works between his creepiness and Gray's ability to just kind of like be creepy without trying to be creepy, you know? Like Beatty, her point in the film as an actress isn't to be creepy, but to sell the fact that she is uncomfortable by his creepiness, which is then added to the creepiness. It's really cool. But I think he was quite perfect here. And Catherine King-So as Charlie. She's okay. She didn't have a whole lot of screen time, so it's hard to kind of judge, but I don't think she was really up to par with either of the other two. I think she was okay. In some instances, she had some strong scenes, but for the most part, not quite a seller here, but nonetheless, pretty fun to watch. Overall, this movie is really fun. I really liked it. There are a lot of issues, and if you don't like slow beginnings, this might not be for you. I do think the beginning is kind of slow, but once you get past that and you really focus and pay attention on like the actual drama of the situation, it works really well. You barely even notice the time's going by. It's only an hour and 25 minutes, and by the end of the movie, you're left with a pretty satisfying ending that you think is pretty good. And I honestly, I liked it. It's a really solid movie about this weird relationship between this music producer and this artist who just might happen to be a werewolf. And I'm going to go ahead and give Bloodthirsty an A-. Definitely check it out. I rented it on Vudu for $7. It might be on Fandango now. I don't know for sure. I checked Vudu first this morning. I don't really know why, but I did. Definitely worth checking out if you guys are interested in that kind of thing. Even if you're not interested in that kind of thing, you might want to check it out. I normally don't like werewolf movies, but I really liked this one. It was fun. So definitely check it out. And looking forward to later today, I'm going to go do some laundry. But then I'm gonna go watch Mortal Kombat, which I've been looking forward to. At least I'm anticipating it being kind of gory, which will be fun. So I'm excited to watch that. That'll be my last thing that I release today. Looking forward to Next week, looks like we're going to try to watch 3 movies. We're going to try to watch Carl Jackson's LAX. We're going to try to watch Golden Arm. And we're going to try to watch Tom Clancy's Without Remorse. That's my goal. We'll see what happens. The following week, there are like 6 movies coming out that I want to watch. I'm going to try to find time for 4, which seems insane, but I think I might be able to pull it off. But please consider subscribing so you guys don't miss any of that. As always, I have movie reviews coming out every single day of the week. So make sure you guys are checking that out and subscribing, liking the video, share the video. I really appreciate all the work. Please comment below what you guys thought of Bloodthirsty. I love replying to comments. It's my favorite thing to do on YouTube. So please consider doing that. And as always, keep watching movies and television, stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.